Are divorce parties necessary? Hi, I'm JR and welcome to 2.0. If you're new here, this is the platform where we talk about the impact of divorce on men. And before we go any further, just click the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that you are notified whenever we release a video. And we would appreciate it if you share this content on your social media platform and encourage your friends to like and participate and share and leave a comment. So are divorce parties really necessary? You know, before we get started, we just watched a bunch of videos of different women just throwing divorce parties because they are celebrating the fact that they are divorced. But I want to point your attention to the last video. You see that it was just a guy and he was by himself. He was the only one on that video just celebrating, throwing the papers in the air because he is divorced and he was happy about it. You know, so I'm saying this to say all of the divorce parties that you've seen are really orchestrated and put together by women. And in those videos so far, you would see there's at least 10 other women who are there celebrating with them. Those are her besties, you know, her ride or die. They're there with her. They probably were the bridesmaids in the wedding too. And now they're celebrating the divorce as well. But this is the point that I've been making from the get-go. When it comes to divorce, you always see that people rally around the women more than they do with the guy. So you saw all the different parties. They had at least 10 women, but you have that last video with the guy. He was the only one in there. He was the only one there. So 99% of the videos that you saw of the divorce parties, they are thrown by women. So you don't see guys throwing a lot of divorce parties. You don't see them doing that at all, as a matter of fact. And the reason why is because to us as guys, a divorce means a failure. Let me ask you a question. When was the last time you celebrated a failure? When was the last time you were at work, you got a bad review and you say, you know what? I just had a bad review. So I'm going to go out drinking with a couple of friends. I'm going to call all my friends and get together. We're going to celebrate. No, you don't celebrate a failure. So this is why you don't see men celebrating divorce or throwing divorce party. To be completely honest, most of the divorce cases that we see that is happening, unfortunately, the man is always the culprit, right? The man is always the cheater. The man is always the person who causes the action that led to the divorce. So you're going to see that the women are just feeling happy and they're celebrating. They feel liberated. And that's why they're throwing those parties. They want to, they're free. And they want to exercise that freedom. They want to make it known to the world that we are free. And that's why each video you saw, they went out and got some t-shirts made. They spend the money to to get those t-shirts made, in addition to the money that they spend to get divorced. I mean, the average cost of divorce is about $11,300 nowadays, depending on the level of complexity. So on top of that, they still went out and spent like another maybe I don't know, another $2,000 or $3,000 or $5,000 to throw the divorce party. But for us men, we don't celebrate divorce because we understand it's a detrimental effect to the family. We understand that divorce is a tear down of the family. So in actuality, what are we celebrating? I know from the women's standpoint, you are celebrating the fact that, hey, I no longer have to deal with this guy. I no longer have to deal with this cheater. I no longer have to deal with this abuser. I no longer have to deal with X, Y, and Z. That's why they are celebrating. And I'm not saying there is anything wrong with the fact that you decide to celebrate the divorce. But my question is it really necessary? Is it really necessary? Because sometimes we see that people are celebrating and then 2 to 3 months down the line, they end up crashing out emotionally, mentally, physically. They end up in a bad place because sometimes when we are talking about the idea of divorce and then living in the reality of the divorce or a post-divorce, it's two different things. It's two completely different things. There are certain things that you're going to have to get used to. So what is it that we are celebrating? Are we celebrating the fact that we're no longer going to have a full-time dad in the house? Are we celebrating the fact that we are no longer going to have a man in the house to handle things? Are we celebrating the fact that now the kids are going to be shuttled back and forth to 2 different houses every other weekend or every other week, depending on the custody arrangement? Is that what we are celebrating? The divorce is a tear down of a sacred union that is instituted by God. You're probably saying, well, now that you know it was instituted by God, of course, we've always known from the get-go that it was instituted by God because we stood before God and witnesses that's what we went over our vow and made promise to love and cherish and care for one another, right? Unfortunately, due to selfish desires, things didn't work out as expected or whatever. But what I'm saying is it really necessary to go to the extent of having a celebration? Because now the kids are involved, families are involved, the extended families, the in-laws on both sides, the man's side and the woman's side, close friends are involved. The people who are friends with the couple, they find themselves in a pickle, questioning, well, which way do I go? Do I go with the man or do I go with the woman? Do I show my loyalty to the woman or do I show my loyalty to the man? So it becomes a problem for people around us. So these are the things that we have to really think about. And again, like I said, I understand because there are some horrible situations out there. There are some horrible marriages out there, believe it or not. As much as I am a supporter of marriage, I have to admit that there are some horrible situations out there that the woman can't wait to leave, or even the men can't wait to leave either. So I do have to understand that. So I do understand that when you finally leave, when you're finally able to get that paperwork done, to get that paperwork signed, it feels like a weight has been lifted off your back. It feels like, now you're able to get out of from under that situation. You are able to walk away from that situation. So you feel like you're free. You feel like you're able to fly and just go on with your life. So I understand it. Listen, I'm not saying throwing divorce parties is wrong or right, but I'm just saying I don't know that it's necessary. For us as guys, it's not something that we look forward to. It's not something that we do, even in situations where it's the woman who cheated. at that point, so the guy is really, would want to get out of the marriage. But even then, they're not going out there celebrating. Oh, I finally got rid of her. She's gone. So I'm going to call up my boys. We're going to go to the bar and then we're going to drink, or we're going to have a good time. We're going to get a DJ, or we're going to do this and that. We're going to have a theme party. No, we don't. We don't. As a matter of fact, guys are the last one to want to file for divorce. And we covered that in past episodes already. And even in extreme situations, right, it's very rare that you're going to find a guy who's actually taking the initiative to file the paperwork, even when the wife is the one who's cheated. Sometimes they'll try to work through it. Again, it could be because they have kids. It could be because they take their role as a husband and as a father seriously. They want to be in the house. They want to be in their kids' life. They want to continue to provide. They want to continue to maintain that family setting. They want to continue to have both parents in the house, to raise the kids. So there will be the last one to take the initiative to file. But even when that finally does happen, when they feel like they can't take it anymore, they don't throw parties because, again, as I said, it is considered a failure. And as men, we don't celebrate failures. In my opinion, if you ask me, I don't think it's something that should be celebrated. But again, to each his own. If you want to celebrate, by all means, go ahead and celebrate. But just make sure you keep that in the back of your mind. Just ask yourself, what are we celebrating? I know you're celebrating freedom. I know you're celebrating liberation. But I also want you to think about the kids. Think about the destruction of the family. Think about what it's doing to the union that has fallen apart. But again, as I said, if you find yourself in that situation, unfortunately, it is what it is. As always, I don't support divorce. I don't believe in divorce, but I do understand that there are situations where divorce is necessary. And unfortunately, you have to go through it. But you don't have to go through it alone. And especially for the guys out there, just hang in there. Just hang in there. If you find yourself in that situation and you're going through that right now, I just want you to know you're not alone. All right. Reach out to someone. Reach out to a pastor friend. Get yourself into therapy. Talk to someone. And don't be ashamed about it. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate you tuning in week after week. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. I appreciate it. And thank you for all the feedbacks. They're very encouraging. Once again, thanks for watching. I'm JR, and I'll see you next time.